Call the meeting to order.
Thank you. Today is the annual meeting, and as a result, I will conduct the annual meeting and then turn the gavel back to the newly elected chair to conduct our regular meeting. So we'll have both our annual and regular meeting today. At this meeting, we're going to elect the annual meeting. We're going to elect officers to a one-year term or until a successor is elected or appointed. I will conduct a roll call, and this roll call will be for both meetings. Mr. Schuley?
Here.
Ms. Strasburger? Ms. Lieber?
Here.
Mr. Domock?
Here.
Ms. McCormick Barron?
Here.
James Martin and Jamil are all on Zoom.
Present.
Okay.
Pause for a moment to get the speakers.
Sure. Okay, got Ms. McCormick Barron,
I'm here.
yeah, I heard her. Okay. Dr. Morrell?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Present.
Mr. Bay?
Here.
We have a quorum for both meetings. I would now like to consider resolution number 3, which is the election of officers. May we have nominations for the positions of chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, and assistant secretary treasurer.
I would like to, excuse me, nominate Alex Schuley as chair, Erica Strasburger as vice chair, BJ Leber as secretary treasurer, and Mike Domash as assistant secretary treasurer.
Okay, may we have a second to consider the motion and for discussion?
Second, Jim
Second.
Martin.
Okay. Any discussion to include other nominations? Hearing none. All in favor of the nominations and presented in the motion?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion unanimously passes. Congratulations to our officers.
Thank you.
And I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the annual meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Return to the regular meeting with our chair, Mr. Schuley.
Wow. Oh, congratulations is the right word. I'm so. All right, let's call to order the regular board meeting, February 23rd, 2024. The board did meet in executive session. There were no votes taken, discussion about projects and personnel, legal matters. We've already done the roll call. Are there any speakers for public comment? If not, we'll move to the approval of the minutes of January 26, 2024. May I have a motion?
So moved, Audrey Morrow.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second. Second. BJ.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes of January 26, 2024, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the minutes are approved. Next, we have the confirmation of CEO approvals. All CEO approvals from the prior month are confirmed. And we'll move to PWSA staff reports and updates. And we'll start with the finance department. Mr. Barker. Good morning.
The financial status update report included in your board packet is through January 31st, 2024. Within the report, you'll see that year-to-date receipt totaled $16.7 million, or about 7% of the total budget for the year thus far. Specifically within January, PWSA experienced stronger than expected receipts for water, disk water, stormwater, and other miscellaneous fee and charges by collecting $12.5 million as compared to the budget amount of $10.9 million. This represents an increase of about $1.6 million as compared to what we had budgeted for those charges versus what we actually received. On the other end, however, wastewater conveyance and disk wastewater conveyance receipts in January totaled $4.2 million as compared to the budget amount of $4.6 million. This represents a slight under collection in the amount of about $400,000. I will note, however, that the finance department will continue to monitor this under collection, but given how early in the year it is, I don't have any pause for concern just yet, just looking at those two charges. Total forecasted year-end receipts are $240 million. This represents an increase of about $1.3 million or 0.5% as compared to the budget. The reason for that increase is the stronger than expected collections, as I mentioned, for water, disk wastewater, and stormwater in the month of January. Departmental operating expenditures through January 31st, 2024 totaled $8.5 million, or about 7% of the budget. And capital expenditures through that same period totaled $2.6 million, or about 1.4% of the budget for the year. $1.2 million in debt service costs have been paid through January 31st, 2024, which represents about 1.4% of the total budget for the year. And forecasted year-end debt service is projected to be roughly $86 million, or about $82,000 lower than budget. This savings is really attributable to lower than expected PennVest debt service in the month of January. PWSA's cash balance as of January 31st, 2024 was $89.3 million, which is roughly $49,000 lower than this point last year. And when I say that, I'm measuring it against January 31st, 2023. This concludes my report for today. I'll turn it back over to the board for any questions. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Barker? Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll move to engineering and we'll welcome Rachel Beam. Your inaugural report, Rachel. We'll be very attentive.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Sholey and members of the board. Consistent with previous reports, I will begin with an update on our drinking water programs, specifically our lead service line replacements. Progress continues, and a total of 10,841 public and 7,642 private side lead service lines have been replaced through February 21st across all contracts. Regarding our neighborhood lead service line replacements, work was recently completed in the Lincoln, Leamington, Belmar neighborhood with only restoration remaining. Replacement work is currently ongoing in the Troy Hill, Bluff, and Perry South neighborhoods. And verification work is anticipated to commence the week of February 26th in Marshall Shadeland and the week of March 4th in Homewood North. We are also actively replacing lead service lines in 5 additional neighborhoods under our small diameter water main replacement contracts, including in the neighborhood of Elliott, where Vice President Harris visited earlier this week. In total, we currently have 5, very soon to be 6, active construction contracts involving lead service line replacement in various stages, including verification, construction, and restoration. Finally, we are moving forward on a new set of lead service line contracts related to the recent PennVest award of $32.1 million, which Mr. Barka mentioned last month. We are in the procurement process for many of the services and materials required for that project, and we will be before you in May with our CMCI and construction contracts for award. This work is planned to start in August and will take place in approximately 11 neighborhoods across the city and Millvale. We're finalizing the locations now and completing all other planning needed for that project to proceed. Moving on to our water reliability plan projects. Construction has started for the Highland Reservoir Pump Station project, including excavation, site clearing, and preliminary geotechnical work. For the combined projects, including Aspenwall Pump Station, Brecken Pump Station, and Clearwell Bypass, also known as the ABC projects, DEP has responded to our permit application, and we are addressing their comments. Also of note, the sludge chamber project located at the Aspenwall treatment plant has kicked off. Notice to proceed has been issued, and construction is anticipated to start in early April. As a refresher, this project will replace the pumps which send our clarifier sludge to Alcosan. Engineering has started our request for qualifications process for engineering on-call contracts. This process happens every 3 to 5 years to establish master service agreements with qualified consultants, and this allows us to streamline the award process for projects less than $1 million in engineering fees. We're aiming to advertise for requests for qualifications the first week of March for engineering services for the following types of projects: linear and vertical drinking water, wastewater, stormwater, green infrastructure, and construction management and inspection. In outreach efforts, the engineering department supported PWSA's participation in the annual Opportunities Forum hosted by Southwestern Pennsylvania Engineering Outreach, aka SPEO, on February 6th. As you may know, SPEO provides networking and mentoring opportunities for diverse engineering firms in the area, and engineering appreciates public affairs attending this event. Last but not least, of important note, Will Pickering was recognized on February 15th by the Pennsylvania Society of Professional Engineers with the Pittsburgh chapter's Distinguished Service Award. This award is given annually to an individual who has demonstrated outstanding contributions toward the improvement of social, economic, and professional status of the professional engineer. Congratulations, Will. This concludes the engineering report. I'll turn it over to the
Questions
board
or
for questions.
comments for Ms. B?
Mm.
It's a couple things. We're gonna make an engineer out of you yet.
Right?
Say no, no.
It's even like, it's got the boom on TV.
Yeah.
I just gotta work the other way.
Right, yes. But anyway, I know that, thank you, Rachel. I appreciate the report and your courage and bravery coming up to the microphone after a couple of weeks on the job. The couple of reports that you mentioned, obviously there'll be a lot of interest, I think, on the on-calls. I know that we don't do this. We do it every couple of years, but you know, we've had a lot of interest, and I hope that we'll continue to have interest and have quite a turnout for your pre-proposal meeting and have a lot of good firms for the next 3 to 5 years. So
Great.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we have the report from the Environmental Compliance Ethics Officer, Mr. Sideri.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So a little update this morning just on some of the reports that the Environmental Compliance Department's working on. So, one of the obligations that we have in my department is to prepare and submit required reporting for some of our compliance with environmental permits and our regulations. So there's lots of kind of monthly ones that go on, more routine ones. But really the beginning of the year here as we enter into this January to March timeframe is an important period. We have a lot of quarterly and semi-annual reports that are put together. So just a little brief update on what those are so that you're aware of some of the obligations that we have. The first is our NPDES stormwater report. This is an annual report submitted to DEP on the status of our industrial stormwater permit for the water treatment plant. This is all the inlets and catch basins that we have at the treatment plant that we have a permit for. Secondly is our NPDES CSO status report. This is also an annual report. It's submitted to DEP. And this documents our CSO, combined sewer overflow occurrences, and some of the associated operation and maintenance activities of our combined sewer system. Third is our self-monitoring compliance reports. These are both annual and semi-annual reports that get submitted to Alcosan. They summarize our industrial wastewater discharges to their system. This year, we submitted reports for our water treatment plant, our clarifier residuals, our hypochlorite building. There is a sump there that we sometimes discharge water from. Our Howard Yard, which is where our Vector pit is, as well as water that came from disinfection and cleaning operations associated with the Brecken Pump Station, Heron Hill Reservoir, and Lanford Supply Main work that occurred over the last year. 2 air quality reports are submitted. The first is the air quality report, which is a semi-annual report submitted to the Health Department, ACHD, on maintenance and operation of our gas-fired boilers and engine-driven generators, which are both at the water treatment plant as well as the Brecken Pump Station. And then there's an annual air quality certification, which is another report submitted to the Health Department. And this has some certifications in terms of the runtime, usages and stuff of those same boilers and engines at the water treatment plant. The annual one for Brecken occurs in May, so they're a little off cycle. On the waste front, we do submit some chemical analysis of residual waste. It's a 26R report. This is an annual report that helps provide a summary and an analysis of the waste streams that we generate at the water treatment plant. So these are kind of the plant trash, residual waste, non-hazardous type waste streams that get generated, we report on. A waste load report is prepared for both Elkasan as well as Penn Hills. This is a summary of the wastewater or sewer system flows that we provide to those organizations, and then they subsequently report that onwards to DEP. And then finally is the SARA Tier 2 report. This is an annual report that goes to the PA Department of Labor and Industry. It provides an inventory of all of our chemical storage facilities at PWSA. And I'll say that report's also important because it is available to first responders. We convey it to the City Fire Bureau, for instance, so that they're also aware if they're responding to an incident that they know where chemicals are stored and where some of those hazards may be. So it's an important report just for communication of those storage pieces. So we are on schedule right now to submit all of those. Some of them have already been turned in. Other ones will be going in shortly. And then the other update here is just looking forward into March is we also will be performing our annual review of several environmental compliance related programs and policies that we have. These are our slugs discharge plans, our integrated contingency plan, which is associated with how we handle chemical releases or spills should they occur, our spill prevention, control, and countermeasures plan, which is specific to oils and fuels that are stored, and then finally our waste management program. So lots of different reports we have, just giving you a summary here for the year. Again, and everything, letting you know if you have questions or comments, including our consultants, contractors, to reach out to me. So any questions?
Very good. Any questions or comments from Mr. Sideri?
Just want to commend you. The amount of information that you compile, analyze, share is really pretty amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
A lot of work done with the groups.
Very good.
Thank you all.
All right, our final report is from our CEO, Will Pickering.
Thank you, and good morning, Chair Shuley. Good morning, members of the board, public, and folks tuning in online. I want to begin by congratulating or thanking the officers who were reelected for what we believe is the 4th consecutive term as officers on the PWSA board. And for those who are unfamiliar, those officers make up our executive committee and are really engaged in priority strategic direction of the organization, and importantly serve on our environmental compliance and ethics committee of the board. So getting into even more detail than Frank provided here, the full board meeting, making sure we're meeting all of our obligations there. So I thank you all. I know you all have very busy lives. It's an unpaid position for all board members. This is volunteer service, but is really essential to our continued progress. So thank you. Congratulations. Whatever term you'd like, you've earned it. I really do appreciate it. I know our staff does as well. I am going to use this opportunity to highlight an upcoming event in March. On March 20th, we are having a gathering at the convention center to increase awareness of what we call our ABC projects, because we love acronyms. But going out into construction here in the next few months, we anticipate is our Aspenwall Pump Station Rehabilitation Project, our Brecken Pump Station complete replacement project, and our Clearwell Bypass project. These are all elements of the water reliability plan. These are high dollar projects. We want to make sure we're attracting not just the best contractors locally, but maybe even nationally. And so we're going to use this as an opportunity to bring folks. We've already gotten a great response so far, but I would encourage anyone who's interested in working with PWSA to attend this event at the convention center. to learn about these projects. And we also hope it'll serve as an opportunity for these different contractors to interact with one another, big, small, letting them know about our supplier diversity program, as well as our ethics and compliance and safety programs, because we have really high expectations for them to continue to deliver on these projects, especially these ABC projects. So be on the lookout for that event, March 20th. And as I said, you can register online on our website. It's pretty easy if you search it. And if you read Currents, there's a QR code in Currents that can take you directly to register for that event. Rachel mentioned the vice president and the EPA administrator visited our construction site in Elliott after providing a public speech. And it was really an awesome opportunity to showcase a PWSA project to such important dignitaries. And for those who participated or read about the news, just having Pittsburgh be identified as a city and PWSA is the ones doing the work, replacing lead service lines, serving as that national example is something we continue to be very proud of. I will say, it has taken a village. It has taken commitment from everyone on this board, our consultants, contractors, the advocate community. This has been, not something that has happened overnight. It's been, a little difficult to believe we're here in this great position that we are now, but a lot of blood, sweat, and tears leading up to this. I want to assure everyone involved that we haven't forgotten about the role that you have all played in the continued success of that program. And we're going to continue to power forward. The vice president challenged us to meet that 2026 goal. Alex was very kind to clarify that we want every day in 2026 to get to that goal. It is audacious, but we are committed to doing our best to achieving it, to replace all lead service lines in Pittsburgh. And maybe at that point, we can have the president here to celebrate. We'll see what comes. And I'll end on a somber note. I do want to note that we did lose a longtime employee, Tony Mazzacco, who had worked for PWSA for nearly 40 years, most recently as a plumber out of our Howard Street yard. Died unexpectedly this past week. And so I do ask that you keep in your thoughts and prayers his family, our team at PWSA, and just thinking of them as they make their way through processing that loss. Chair Shuley and board, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, but again, do want to be grateful for everything that you contribute on an ongoing basis. I do think that the vice president's visit was a really nice event to have most board members present at and to share that moment with the organization.
Thank you, Will. Any questions or comments for Will? Thank you very much. We'll move to the resolutions. We'll start with resolution number 4. Mr. Barca.
Resolution number 4, approving the reimbursement resolution for the 2022 small diameter water main replacement contract A non-lead project as part of the Penvest closing process.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Audrey. Is there a second?
Second, Jamil.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 4, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 4 is approved. Resolution number 5, Ed.
Resolution number 5, authorizing the securing of funding by PWSA from the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority in the aggregate maximum principal amount of $34,159,707.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved, BJ.
BJ, is there a second?
Second.
Go, Audrey. Is there any discussion? Other than thank you again. Wonderful opportunity here to use this money and so many things that Will mentioned in his report, and have the vice president up there talking about all the work that's being done and what happened since the last visit. So thank you again for all the work that you and the finance team are doing on this Penvest loans.
Thank you.
All those in favor of resolution number 5, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 5 is approved. Resolution number 6.
Resolution number 6, authorizing the securing of funding by the PWSA from the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority in the aggregate maximum principal amount of $3,160,825.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Geometry, is there a second?
Second, Peg McCormick Barron.
Thanks, Peg. Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 6, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 6 is approved.
Thank you.
Ed. All right, Rachel. Resolution num- Right, resolution number 7, thank you.
Number 7, approving change orders for construction of the 2023 urgent water repair contracts to independent enterprises and Mealy and Sons operating budget of $1 million. This is to get us projected to get us to the end of these urgent repair contracts.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So
So-
Is there a second?
Second, Mike Dolmark.
Any discussion?
Any
Yeah.
background or additional information on the need for the change? Just some
Yeah,
context.
that was the question. Too.
Sure. So these is our urgent repairs, and basically we ended up having, we're not always able to predict how many we're going to have. So we ended up having more than what we originally thought. And so this is to cover the additional amount for the additional work. So it's not added on to the work that we had. It's more like we just had more repairs than we projected to begin with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of resolution number 7, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 7 is approved. Resolution number 8.
Approving the award of an operating contract for construction of 2024 manhole and point repair contract to M. O'Haron. Operating budget approximately 1.6 million. This is one of our regular annual contracts.
Thank
We
you.
have
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Audrey, is there a second?
Second.
BJ? Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 8, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 8 is approved. We move to resolution number 9.
approving the award of operating contracts for construction of 2024 surface restoration to Mealy and Sons and A. Felino. And a professional services agreement for construction management and construction inspection services to Hatch Associates. Cumulative operating budget of approximately 10.2 million. Similarly, this is one of our other regular annual contracts. This is for surface restoration of work performed by PWSA operation.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved, Mike Dolmark.
You might, for a second?
Second,
Roger Morrow.
Jim.
Great, thank you.
We'll let Jimmy have this one.
And Jim, all right, let Jim have this one. All right. Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 9, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 9 is approved. We move to resolution number 10.
Approving the award of capital contracts for the construction of the Landford Reservoir Booster Disinfection Improvements Project. General mechanical contract to GM McCrossin, HVAC and plumbing contracts to Wayne Kraus, and electrical contract to Lanco Electric. Cumulative capital budget of approximately 6.6 million. I believe the board is somewhat familiar with these. These have been rebid, a couple of them. Any questions? Let me know.
Very good. Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved, Audrey Morrow.
Roger, is there a second?
Second, Peg McCormick
Barron.
A tie there between Mike and Peg. All right.
I think rock, paper, scissors is in order.
Right. Any discussion?
Mike, it's okay.
Great
It's
discussion.
good to see the number of firms that are starting to participate in those pre-bid meetings. That's a really good sign. That means that the word is getting out there. So congratulations to the staff for all the efforts on that.
Good comment. All those in favor of resolution number 10, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 10 is approved. Resolution number 11.
Approving the award of a capital contract for the construction of the South Side Flat Sewer Separation Contract A to A Folino Construction. The budget of approximately 10.9, almost $11 million. And this is for the separation of a 54-inch combined sewer.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved, BJ?
Thank you, BJ. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Audrey. Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 11, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Resolution number 11 is approved. That is all the resolutions for today.
Thank you.
I guess I had a couple things that I wanted to add. I want to get them on the record, quite frankly. First of all, happy Engineers Week to all those engineers. I know, Will, you're still in waiting, but you know,
Is that really a thing or did you make that up?
this is really, there are some engineers out there that can attest to the fact that usually President's Day week is also Engineers Week. So all the way till Saturday, Audrey, you know, we're celebrating. But I want to go back for a moment to the Vice President's visit. Thank you to all the board members and staff and consultants that participated. We certainly could have had a quorum there. I was very pleased with the board's attendance there and quite proud of the fact that we were here listening to the Vice President of the United States talk about clean water and talk about PWSA. And later, when I had a moment to reflect, I asked myself the question, you know, how did we get here? How did we get to the point that we were being showcased nationally by the office of the Vice President? And as Will alluded to earlier, it takes a village. And I'm going back, quite frankly, you know, more than a decade ago to the commitments that PWSA made to change and to improve. And that started, quite frankly, with staffing. First, you know, a commitment to hire the best. And as we have talked about many times at this board meeting, we are so pleased with the expertise of the staff and what they're doing. The other part that there was, I think, played a role is that the board made a commitment to break a long-standing, what do I call it, rule that you could only work for the authority if you were a member of the resident of the city of Pittsburgh. And you know, we were able, through the board and working with the city, to expand that to the county. And you know, we were able to recruit and retain quite a few experts, and I think that has added to the success of the authority. Other decisions that we made, you know, Frank can talk about this chapter and verse, but we made a commitment to orthophosphate to reduce our lead levels, and now, you know, we're at some of the lowest levels that the authority has ever experienced. And of course, we made a commitment to remove lead lines, all lead lines, by 2026. And when we made that commitment, I'm not sure we were even thinking about the private side. But the board and staff made a commitment to also do the right thing and remove public and private. And of course, our board members, many of whom have been here or got on the board through the Blue Ribbon Panel, and Mark Nornberg and Jared Cohen and others who lobbied the city to recruit the best board members. So I want to thank everyone who has participated in this decades-long journey to get to the point where we're standing there hearing PWSA mentioned by every elected official, from the mayor to the county executive to members of Congress to the governor's office, and finally by the vice president. So thanks all to have contributed. Thank you all for your service, and appreciate everything that everyone has done. So my little soapbox for today, but anyway, is there any other business that needs to come before the board?
I just want to echo the congratulations for Will for the award that you received. A big part of what you heard from the chair is due to your leadership and bringing together just the best talented group of staff that we had the pleasure to work with. I tell you this all the time. I might teach about effective leadership. You do it every single day. And so congratulations for that.
Thank you, Roger. All right, if there's no other business, I'll take may I have